All right, so Kevin, before we start our readathon, I just want to say one quick thing. Mm-hmm. Welcome to all you new patrons who've joined us for this. I love that.
You're flooding in. We love seeing new folks.
We love it. And I would love to know one thing. Mm-hmm. How do we keep you after this? Tell me what you want. What you really, really want.
Now that you're here, please sample a lot of you are longtime listeners and you've been like, well, I hear about Patreon and I don't know if I want to take the jump. Now that you're here,
I know.
Please dig it. You have access now.
Yeah.
Listen to the after show. Listen to Leave It to Bricker if you're supporting us at the Leave It to Bricker level. The deep dive.
Listen to Married with Podcast is my favorite.
Listen to Married Podcast. And actually, why don't you see the live stream that we're doing on Wednesday night? Just pop in. You don't have to spill your heart out about your own relationship issues, but kind of like see what's going on.
That's right. You don't even have to ask relationship questions. The questions can be about anything, even Karen Reed. So yeah, I just wanted to say hi. Thanks so much for joining, and let me know what other kinds of content you would like back here, because you know me, I'll probably fucking make it.
You know what people want? Karen Reed content.
Daily true crime shit is what they want.
All right, how about we give it to them?
All right, here we are in the Readathon. It is Tuesday, June 18th, and today was a short half day in court. Not even a half day. Half day is like a couple hours, right? Mm-hmm. And today was Voir Dire Witness Day. The jury was not in the room.
Voir Dire Wednesday. Okay.
Tuesday,
whatever.
Do you know what voir dire means literally?
Voir dire is to look for the truth.
To speak the truth.
Speak the truth, voir dire.
Yes. So today there were a couple of witnesses on the stand out of the presence of the jury that the prosecution basically objected to the defense putting on, right? Because they either thought that they broke the rules of disclosure by bringing them in too late, or that they wanted to push back on their expertise in some way.
So this is why they weren't voir dire at the beginning of the trial.
Yeah.
Usually, like, we hear the term voir dire, it's about the jury.
Right.
Okay.
But you can also voir dire witnesses. You can voir dire anybody, I guess, but mostly witnesses or jurors. Okay, so the first witness to come on the stand, you'll be very happy to hear, was a superbly educated doctor named Marie Russell.
Okay.
Marie Russell is a retired emergency physician and forensic pathologist. She spent 29 years at Los Angeles General Medical Center. Part of her job is determining the cause of injury.
Okay.
And she actually heard about this case and then reached out to a prosecutor, a friend of hers, who then connected her with a defense team, I guess is how she became involved in this case.
Okay.
Because she heard that there might be
That's how she got involved in this case.
Yes.
She was way ahead of the curve.
Right. But she heard that there might be dog bites involved.
Right.
And she has treated hundreds of dog bite victims.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So she said on the stand that she reviewed photos of John O'Keefe's injuries. Mm-hmm. She reviewed the autopsy report. She reviewed photos. She reviewed grand jury testimony from the medical examiner. She reviewed a toxicology report. She reviewed a neuropathology report. She reviewed the emergency room record. She reviewed all sorts of stuff.
She did her homework.
She did her homework, yes.
Does she know what physics are?
Yes. She was also a very measured and very smart witness.
Okay.
All right?
And again, this is just voir dire?
This is voir dire.
To determine
out of the presence of the jury.
Okay, sure. Okay.
She said that she detected combinations of bite marks and scratches on the arm and puncture wounds. Parallel wounds indicate dog bites. Parallel wounds also indicate dog scratches.
Because a bite, if you have two teeth next to each other, they would be right. They would be equidistant and okay.
These are patterns, and these are patterns. Bite, bite, bite. Which basically is what I've been saying to you when I show you the picture.
Yeah, sure.
That's
but you're not an expert.
Correct, but I have been bitten by a dog and I have seen dog bites.
Not multiple times. Sure.
Also, by the way, I would encourage listeners, and this is a gross task, look at the picture of John O'Keefe's arm and then Google other pictures of dog-bitten arms. Just do it.
Ask ChatGPT to find you.
You will find other pictures of dog-bitten arms that look nearly exactly like John O'Keefe's arm. It's pretty amazing.
Okay.
So there were no bodily injuries outside the head. She said she ruled out that he'd been struck by a vehicle like almost immediately. Okay. And it is her strong opinion that he was bitten by a dog. Cross-examination by Lally. He's first like, are you board certified in pathology? She's like, no, that's not what I did. She's like, that's like, no, I'm not board certified pathology, but so she's not. So basically defense contacted her on May 17th about testifying. So she's kind of a late comer, which I'm sure is one of the reasons why they're objecting to her.
When did this trial start? I mean, it feels like it's been going on for a year. It's been going on for,
this is the 8th week. So this is okay.
Yeah.
She has not written a report on her findings in the Reed case yet, but she knew that there was controversy about the wounds. So she reached out, basically to the team. These are all things that she heard about. But basically, the judge sort of asked her the questions and she said to a high degree of medical certainty, these injuries were made by a large dog. She was also asked, by the way, if she's an expert in domestic dog bites. And she was like, yes.
As opposed to what, wild dog bites?
And it was really interesting.
Can you rule out this wasn't a wolf?
Yeah, there was a whole conversation about, her, whether or not she should be allowed in to testify or not. And basically what it came down to was Lally was like, I'm not comfortable with her saying that this wasn't caused by a car accident, but I might be comfortable with her supposing that it was caused by dog bites. And Jackson's like, I'm fine with that. and then Canone is like, but can you bring in a witness to refute her testimony if you want to? Do you have time for that? And he's like, yeah, it would take me like a week. So basically the judge is offering him an opportunity to bring in a witness that would refute her saying it was dog bites.
Right.
And basically Jackson's like, I'm fine with her saying it's not a car accident, but I want her in saying these are fucking dog bites.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how that one ended. So, by the way, the judge is going to said she's coming on Thursday and say whether or not any or all these witnesses can come before the jury. So tomorrow's a day off because it's Juneteenth. Thursday, she's going to come in with her decision on these witnesses.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Next witness. You're going to like this one.
Yeah, okay.
This was Daniel Wolf.
Oh, does he have an alibi?
No.
Does he? Okay. Are those his bites?
He is
Wolf? No. All
an
right.
accident reconstruction specialist with a private company called ARCA, ARCCA.
And this is a potential defense witness.
Yes.
Okay. Keep going.
He's examined many cases involving pedestrians and vehicles. He does nighttime visibility work to see if drivers can see pedestrians. He's an accredited traffic accident reconstructionist. He's testified in multiple states.
Just like Trooper Paul? No,
ready
not
for
at all
this?
like Trooper Paul. Okay, yeah.
He was not hired by the defense. He was hired by the FBI to look into the Reed case as part of the federal investigation into the state law enforcement handling of this case.
Okay. Interesting.
Jackson asked, are you being paid by either side in this courtroom to testify? No, he's not being paid by either side to testify. He said that he and two of his colleagues have reviewed the case. He's reviewed law enforcement reports. He's reviewed photos. He's reviewed data from the vehicle, autopsy photographs. He's looked into vehicle damage. Another colleague of his looked at O'Keefe's injuries. They work very closely together. He would basically testify to whether or not the accident reconstruction aspect of it, whether or not O'Keefe had been hit by a car. Okay. In cross-examination, Lally tried to get Wolf to sort of say, like, you were asked specific leading questions about the case. And Wolf was like, no, I just was asked open-ended, like, what was our opinion about the case, right? So I was not asked anything specific. And, he basically, when Canone asked him, like, what were you specifically asked to do? He said, I was asked, like, what did the evidence say? Was the evidence consistent with him being struck by a vehicle? So, like, basically, if he was asked a leading question, it was on the other side.
All right, so, Doctor, I just have one question for you. What specifically were you asked to do?
I'm sorry, but I didn't.
What specifically were you asked to do?
So the agency that retained us gave us a selected quantity of file material related to this case, and essentially left it as an open-ended question. Ultimately, was the evidence consistent with a pedestrian interaction between Mr. John O'Keefe and the Lexus?
Okay, you said selected quantity of information. Who selected that information?
As far as I'm concerned, it would be the Department of Justice and the FBI.
All right, and they just gave you what they wanted to give you, as far as you know?
We had no say in what material was handed over to us.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, okay.
It was like, could he have been hit by a car? Not, could he have not been hit by a car?
Yeah. Or was he hit by a car?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Correct. Anyway, so Lally then finally asked him, like, did you see anything that suggested that the injuries, especially to the back of the head, were caused by a motor vehicle? And Wolf was like, no, I don't believe we did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was Wolf. So he's the second witness. The third witness, okay, this is like, I like
That's right, because you're getting to testify really for the public.
We're getting to
even
hear
though we're
it.
not by the jury. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
okay.
It's
yeah.
really kind of a shame.
Yeah.
Remember Trooper Paul?
How can you forget Trooper Paul?
Yeah, this is kind of the anti-Trooper Paul that we're going to hear from next.
Somebody knows about physics?
Dr. Andrew John Rensselaer.
Oh, he already sounds smart.
Rensselaer belongs to the American Society for Mechanical Engineers and the Society for Automotive Engineering.
That's fucking crazy.
When asked about his other credentials, he is also taking classes through the National Transportation Safety Board, as among other things. He has training in kinematics. You know what kinematics are?
I know, and neither does Trooper Paul.
It's the study of how the body moves.
Oh, yeah, actually, I have heard that term. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. He does those crash tests, the sled tests, where they run them into walls and stuff. He does all of that stuff. The dummy in the vehicle. He does all of that stuff.
Okay.
And he's been involved in many studies examining pedestrian crashes. He's testified for prosecutors in many criminal courts, including Pennsylvania. So basically, he's reviewed materials to determine what happened, how the injuries occurred. And his team made the report available to prosecutors and the defense.
Okay.
All right? It's like, did you have any limitations, blah, blah, blah. And he said his team issued their opinion in February. He told Lally on cross-examination that their role was to conduct, quote, a biomechanical engineering analysis of O'Keefe's injuries. He's basically the anti-Trooper Paul, right?
Yeah. I mean, somebody has to do the science on this, and it sounds like the state was relying on their own state police force, and they are woefully inadequate at this.
Correct.
Okay.
So Cannone...
Which makes you think that it's not in just this case.
Right.
Anyway, I just always think about everybody else involved in a car accident that's relying on this moron. But okay, but this doctor...
Right.
PhD or something like that?
Yeah. So Cannone basically asked some questions of these witnesses too, and she's like, "What were you asked to do specifically?" Like you can tell.
This is the judge.
Yeah, you can tell she's trying to get to like, were you asked to like find things that look bad for the state or whatever? And all these people are just like, no, we were just asked to look at this and find out whether or not it could have been caused by a vehicle. These people were asked by the feds to find out what the truth was.
Yeah.
Not to say, can you screw this person? It's like, what is the truth?
Yeah.
And that's basically what they said over and over and over again.
Are you willing to be a defense witness, and can you get us? It just was. Right. Can you just tell us?
Yeah. The dog bite doctor is different. I mean, she heard about the case.
She came forward.
She's like, I know dog bites.
Yep.
You need help with this?
That's my jam. Yep.
That's my jam. So that's a little bit different, and you understand like why there would be questions there.
Yeah.
But it sounded like Lally would be okay with it as long as he could bring in a counter witness. And so it sounds like dog bite lady might come in. I mean, if Judge Cannone says that she can come in, and
man, that's some really powerful physical evidence.
Right.
There,
Oh gosh. And I'll tell you, whether or not you believe it's dog bites or not, it does not look like a taillight crushed up his arm.
Yeah. And I'll just say, like, reading between the lines, if the judge asks the prosecution that, and they say, yeah, we can do that, I don't see how she can then say, no, I'm not going to let the witness, because she's asking the question because she, in that moment, is contemplating, yeah, but.
Right.
Anyway.
I mean, I'm just going to give you my very strong opinion. Listeners can disagree with me or not. If you've been a dog owner, if you've seen dog bites on other dogs, I was bitten by our dog at one point. Like, I've seen multiple dogs. I have seen German Shepherd bites. But seriously, I strongly encourage you to Google a dog bitten arm and then look at, if you want to. It's kind of gross. And remember, you're looking at John O'Keefe's dead body arm. They don't show the body, but you just see the arm. They look so much like multiple dog bites. They really, really, really do.
Can I ask a question about the German Shepherd that was living in that house?
The German Shepherd mix Chloe, yes.
Was Chloe a police dog?
That's unclear. I have to look into that.
Just
I
because
think
the
Chloe
owner
may have been a police dog, yeah.
Because if you see any video of a police dog in training.
Yeah.
What is that dog doing?
They attack the forearm.
It's the video of like the guy wearing a giant, padded arm, and that's where they go.
Yes.
And that's where
that's actually where any dog attacks.
Yeah, okay.
You know why?
No.
Because that's where people put their hands up to defend themselves.
Oh, okay.
So the reason why, dogs, police dogs are trained to attack the arms and legs, usually to avoid injuries to like the face and head or whatever.
Yeah.
However, I was on a walk with my aunt as a kid, and she was attacked by a German Shepherd, which is, I'm honestly, like, I'm not afraid of most dogs. German Shepherds are one of the only breeds of dogs
I can see why.
I have a phobia
sure.
around.
Okay.
She sustained very serious injuries to her forearms because she put up her arms to defend herself.
Right.
So the dog will go for the part that it's coming at their face.
Okay, so part of that's how the human.
It's part of it is how the human, yes,
him or herself.
And if you watch those dog training videos, they put the padding on their arms to train the dogs, but then they also put the arm up so that the dog will attack.
Yeah, you basically tell them, don't forget to go for that.
No, so basically that's how a person will behave when they're facing a dog that's attacking.
Yeah,
right. So
and also, I mean, the human, the way they are probably presenting as a threat has something to do with maybe what they're holding in their hands or they're punching or something like that. That's also another way to sort of neutralize the threat.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Because a person could be holding a weapon or whatever.
And it's also probably evolution.
Yeah.
It's just science, people.
So what's so interesting to me, the doctor with the dog bite lady is just an expert who came in. It would be like me coming in and being like, listen, I'm an expert on ring camera deletion. I happen to be watching this case and I know exactly what happened in this video or whatever. So she sounds like an expert on dog bites. So that's, but put her aside. These two gentlemen are typically, it sounds like, prosecution witnesses in a lot of cases. Like these are gold standard witnesses. And they were
These sound like people that would be, engaged by the government. Absolutely, yeah.
By states, by prosecutions. They were asked by the FBI, the feds, to find the truth. Now, I'm not being Pollyanna here. Because keep in mind, if there's a federal investigation into this case, they are not pro-Karen Read people, right?
Yeah.
They're just trying to find out what the fuck happened in this investigation. So they're trying to find out, likely, could the police have been acting in good faith around this car accident? What's very interesting to me is that the feds are investigating the actual car accident. Which tells me something about they're really looking into the investigation of this case. Because what they're saying, what this tells me is we're not just looking at the cops' communications. We're not just looking at this. We're actually looking at the case itself because their behavior versus the facts of the case says more. So they brought in experts to look at the facts of the case. These experts they weren't looking at whether or not Karen Read did it or not. They were looking at the investigation. So they had no skin in the game regarding Karen Read. Right.
The only thing I can think of is if the feds are theorizing, and we have no idea what their, what their hypothesis is in their investigation. But if they're trying to find out whether it's likely an officer fabricated evidence, what you would have to do is, in order to figure that out, is you would have to determine the likelihood of the evidence, presented. Right. So that would be one way to say, look, there's no possible way this could have happened.
There's no possible he was hit by a car.
Yeah, hit by a car. Right. So because of this, and this. Also, we, need to underscore that regarding a state homicide case, the feds don't have any jurisdiction. So if there is an alternative theory of the crime that somebody else is responsible for John O'Keefe's death, the feds can't bring that case.
No.
So, I mean, it's not like someone else is going to come along and then file different charges. But again, when you talk about skin in the game, they really don't have skin in the game regarding the homicide charge against Karen Read. They are definitely looking at something they have jurisdiction over.
And these aren't the feds. These guys, these are experts.
These guys, right.
Yeah, these are contractors hired by the feds who made their reports available to both Massachusetts prosecutors and Karen's defense. Basically, what they're saying is, what we have here is what we believe to be the truth, and we want to make it available to both of you. and the state is trying to keep them out.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? I mean, that tells me a lot.
I have to say that I don't see how the judge could bar these witnesses from testifying and that being a harmless error. That seems like that would be a reversible error on appeal. I mean, unless the stated reason the judge has is firmly within case law, I just don't see how you say, yeah, this is not probative, right?
By the way, when it came out that the doctor...
Actually, we're not asking whether or not the evidence is probative. They're trying to determine the credibility and the expertise of these witnesses.
Yes,
isn't that the case?
That and whether or not they should be allowed to testify, because like Lally said, he has an issue with the specialists testifying to their conclusions. Jackson said, this is according to the Boston Globe, Jackson said the experts are highly qualified to render their opinion that there's, quote, insufficient evidence to determine the cause of O'Keefe's skull and head injuries. It's well within their purview. Lally said he didn't think that was their opinion about the injuries. So it's like they have this weird like semantic thing, but it's like, let them testify and say what their opinion is. Let them testify. So one thing that I'll note is that during the Dr. Dogbite testimony.
Dr. Dogbite.
Her name's Dr. Russell, by the way. One of Lally's objections was that she had come in so late to the case. And Jackson rightly said, well, Judge, you've let people in that these guys brought in late to the case.
Right.
You've let evidence in, and you've let people in that, like, you've been lenient about that. So please be lenient to us, which, is fair. And I just don't think that, like, if you're watching it from the public side, you've seen this Judge Canone. I'm not going to say that the judge is biased to one side or the other. I don't think that that's necessarily fair. People watching the case are saying that she is, just because of her affect in court, yes or no. But it's like, if she bars any of these three witnesses, it would be difficult. So anyway, thoughts?
I think that if they are allowed to testify for the defense, it would be pretty damning. And I think also this is an indication that the prosecution is almost done with its case, right? And the defense is going to be up shortly.
Yes.
But like I said, I just don't see how the judge could bar them from testifying, or saying that, that they shouldn't testify, because A, they seem incredibly qualified in their fields, and they seem to have like really important exculpatory evidence.
Yeah.
So I couldn't possibly see how the judge could. I mean, if so, I think it's one of the first appealable issues that the Reed's attorneys would bring up.
I forgot to tell you something about Dr. Russell.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to MIT for a year, took pre-med courses, and then I had an unusual life event in that my mother came down with cancer, and she subsequently passed away. During the time away, so I took some time off from school. During that period of time, I decided to explore another interest of mine, which was law enforcement. And so I took some courses in law enforcement, and I became a full-time police officer here in Massachusetts.
What years were you at MIT?
That was 1972 to 1974.
Did you go to the police academy?
I did. Once I became a police officer here in Massachusetts, I attended the Boston Police Academy, where I graduated.
What year was that?
That was in 1977.
During the course of your training as a police officer, did you have any specialized training in hit and run and accidents and investigations?
Yes, I did.
And which agency did you work for as a sworn peace officer?
I worked for the city of Malden full-time for 7 years.
That would be from 1977 to 1984, approximately?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
She's published articles. I'm sorry. This is actually really important.
Yeah.
She's published articles on law enforcement dogs biting. That's actually her area of expertise.
Law enforcement dogs.
Yeah, bite and hold techniques by dogs.
Oh my God. And so so it's like, oh, yeah, you're great, except for when you're going to testify against us.
And Lally is like, are these kinds of bites different than domestic dog bites? She's like, oh yeah. So she like knows dog. This woman knows.
Oh, that's the difference between domestic dog. She means She's not talking about like wild
Wolves.
dogs. She's talking about
No.
trained dogs.
She knows
Domestic-
she knows what
pets
a trained
versus
pets versus like Stuart versus Chloe, maybe.
Okay.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
that would be a great question to ask.
Yeah.
for
Anyway,
one of the sides anyway.
that is today's. Do you
Wow.
think that we're doing a good job with our voir dire on these readathons?
Our voir dire,
We're
yes.
trying. We're trying. Listen, I
no
really,
one answers our questions.
I had every intention of doing these and being like super earnest and dry and like not snarky and not. It is so hard with this. It is so hard. This trial is like. Dude,
watching an Innocence Project case in reverse.
yeah, it's like watching
Somebody
an
said that.
undisclosed case in real time.
Yeah.
You know what I keep expecting to happen? I keep expecting there to be a moment where like Jackson puts up a photo of O'Keefe's arm and is like, "So are you saying, officer, that these wounds were caused by a taillight?" And the officer saying, "Yes." And then Jackson saying, "Well, that's too bad because this is actually someone else's arm and this is dog bites, sir." Like that's what I keep expecting to happen. It's like this trial.
Like when someone puts up a photo of a fetus and like, it's actually a gerbil fetus.
Exactly.
Looks exactly the same.
This is exactly.
right.
This is the kind of thing that this is this kind of trial where like.
It's not an arm, it's a sausage.
Yeah, the experts for the prosecution have been so. It's like it makes me sad. And it's like this is it. And I honestly see there are, of course, very pro Karen Read people online, and there are very anti Karen Read people online. And seeing the anti Karen Read people online and the things that they say to bolster their case, like around the dog thing, it's like. So are you telling me there's a magic dog with no lower jaw? And it's like, what are you talking about? You don't even know what a dog bite looks like. Like this dog expert is literally saying that's a dog bite, and you're saying that you know, or they're like, oh, a magical.
Do they have a photo of the other side of the arm?
Or like a magical dog bite where there's no hair left behind. I'm like, I'm sorry, does hair grow out of a dog's mouth? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, it seems like they did not.
Well, they swabbed the shirt.
Right, they didn't extract any evidence from the arm, right?
They extracted it from the shirt. Apparently there was no dog DNA on the shirt. But remember...
Oh, the shirt sleeve.
His clothes, this is a detail that I don't know if I told you or not. There's a chain of custody evidence with his clothes that came up earlier in the trial from Buchanan. So they had his clothes for 6 days... And Buchanan said they were ostensibly lying on a piece of butcher paper drying out for 6 days.
Yeah.
So there's a question there, and the only person who would have had like access to them at that point is Buchanan and Proctor. And so like there's a question as they could have been washed, anything could have happened to them, or they could have been, stuff. By the way, his clothes were soaking wet. So there's an excellent chance that if there were dog saliva on the shirt, if it were soaking wet in the snow, like the dog saliva could have been washed off, Yeah. It's like there's so many things that could have taken place, whatever. Anyway, also, by the way, this doctor said that the holes in the shirt were consistent with dog bites.
There were holes in the shirt.
Yeah, they're consistent with dog bites. Ripped tears in the shirt.
Can I ask one last question?
Sure.
What was the state of O'Keefe's winter jacket?
That's a good question.
Was he wearing it when he was found?
No, he was not.
And do we know where it was located?
I don't know, and that's a me thing. I haven't looked into it.
Okay, all right.
I do know that was a question that came up during one of the cross-examinations of like, he said to one of the, wouldn't you expect a guy out in the snow to be wearing all of their outer gear, and he wasn't? And wouldn't you expect that he would have taken it off in the house? And I thought that was like a real moment, but then not followed up on. I don't know where his coat was. I don't. So if someone else knows and they want to put it on Patreon and let me know, great, and point me to where you know that from. I haven't been able to find it. I did a search for it. I wasn't able to find it. That doesn't mean that information's not out there. I just haven't found it.
This is the prosecution's assertion that the two of them pulled up to the house. He got out
without a coat on.
Yeah, and so the coat would have been in her car.
That's I guess
if that was the case. But he got out without a coat and then had this horrible accident.
I apparently that I don't know.
Sorry,
but if he
but
wasn't wearing a coat when he was found, and there's no coat in the car, where the fuck is the coat?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
I don't know, but
that's got to. Someone's got to get hit with that.
I'm just going to admit though, I'm a little bit ignorant on this point. I could just be missing that. So I'm just going to leave it there.
There's a lot of bad evidence to keep track of.
There's so much stuff I've missed.
Okay.
There's a couple of things that I've said that people have been like, oh, that was here. And I welcome that kind of stuff. Because remember, I came to this just a few weeks ago, and this has been going on for 2 fucking years.
Yeah.
So if you, I just want to invite listeners, if you hear me say something that you believe I've gotten completely wrong, or when I say I don't know, but it's out there, pop a link on our Patreon and let me know, and I will correct it. I'll do the research. I have been doing many deep dives. I have been going back. I even read the shitty online stuff. I follow links from Reddit. I follow links from Turtle Boy. I look into Turtle Boy stuff. Sometimes his scoops are amazing, and sometimes they make like no sense to me at all. But anyway, yeah, just pop a link and I'm happy to follow up.
Oh, man.
Because this case is, after all, my whole personality.
Yeah. Hey, will you please join us tomorrow night, Wednesday night, for our live taping of Married with Podcast. It's right on Patreon. It's a live stream, so you can see us, and you also, as a patron, have the ability to join and to participate. You can submit questions. You can even jump on the screen and be part of the podcast. We are cranking out so much stuff for you, so thank you for supporting us at any level. We appreciate this and hope you enjoy the multitude of our exclusive content. So, Rebecca, happy Juneteenth.
Yes, you too.
And
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. And then on Thursday, the case will resume.
All right, see you then.
Partners in Crime Media.